opportunity, the potential, basically dispel any of the fears or the concerns about network marketing as a profession, as a business. Because as Eric Worre says, network marketing may not be perfect, but it is absolutely a better way. And as Kayleen had mentioned, going back, gosh, another lifetime ago, really, it was, I worked for the United States Chamber of Commerce. That was 25 years ago. And it gave me it was a great opportunity. I worked for, I was the business representative for Maui and Kauai County. It was a tough place to have to work, but someone had to do it. So, so I volunteered. And it was fantastic. I love free enterprise. I have a huge amount of respect for people who are willing to step out and take some risk and take some responsibility, for their own life. I know that there's a lot of people, that have had their own business, not only an Asea business, but a traditional business. And my heart really goes out to you in terms of what it takes to do that. When you, in fact, when I would go and visit the business owners, I had a chance to talk with thousands of business owners when I was doing that. I was, part of my heart would go out to these business owners that had totally put everything into their business, their life, their blood, their sweat and tears, their credit and everything else. And so many of those businesses would be gone the next year when I'd come back to talk with them. When you look at the taxes and the regulation and the workers' comp or superannuation here in Australia, the legal, sue happy culture that we're in, just everything just mounts up to being a whole lot of obstacles and challenges for businesses to overcome. And so the other thing I've discovered, as long as you work for somebody else, your job may be only as secure as your employer's mood. I don't know if anybody here has ever had that experience. I certainly have, going back. And it's not to say that having a job is a bad thing. It can create some security and some certainty for some people. But it was a path that I decided that I certainly didn't want to have. I wanted to be able to create more security. You could also say that your job might be only as secure as your employer's mood. And these are all things to really look at and consider when taking a look at the network marketing profession. And so I remember years ago, in fact, this was 25 years ago, I got the first three-way phone call I had ever experienced was a guy who ended up being my mentor in this profession. And I want to tell you, I actually had lots of fears and concerns about network marketing. As a matter of fact, I had this horrible perception of what network marketing was. I thought it was all about selling soap and shampoo to your friends and family, and people talking about making lots of money, but no one really was, and a lot of other negative connotations that I kind of wrapped up into it. And what I come to discover was that, that wasn't it at all. As long as you have the right company, the right culture, the right people, the right products, this business model is absolutely exceptional. And in fact, I remember being on this three-way phone call. I was talking with a guy named Dave. Dave Johnson was his name, and he said, Bart, I says, I'm having, and it was products that were involved with a wellness company as well. So it wasn't Asea, obviously, at that time, but it was products that were health and wellness based. And he said, you know what, I'm having so much fun. I'm helping people. It's really making a difference. And he said, and it also pays really good too. Well, if he's invited me to look at a business, I asked him, I said, well, Dave, are you making any money? Maybe a little bit of a presumptuous question, but, I thought, he's asking me to join him in business. And I personally thought it was a fair question. And he said, he was a super humble guy. And he said, it's almost embarrassing. He said, last month, now keep in mind, this is back in 1994. So this is going back a few years. And he said, Bart, it's almost embarrassing. He said, last month, they sent me a check for about 62. And I thought to myself, $62, $6,200. Well, come to find out it was $62,000 for the month. And all I had to do is do a really quick little evaluation of what he was doing versus what I was doing. And I thought, he's having a whole lot more fun, enjoying what he's doing more than I am, because I really wasn't enjoying what I was doing, to tell you the truth. In fact, it was a good job, but there was always more month than there was money. In fact, he was earning more every single month than I was earning annually. And I thought, well, he's a pretty down-to-earth kind of guy. I thought, well, if he can do this, so can I. Why couldn't I? And I also did an evaluation. I thought, well, if what else could you possibly do to make $62,000 a month? And I thought, well, you know, the only thing I could think of was somehow starting your own business, but there's all these horrible barriers to entry. Let's say, for example, some of the highest paid professions might be being an attorney or being a surgeon, and you know, that kind of thing. So we want to take an honest look at what the barriers to entry are and what it takes to really do this, because I made the decision to treat this like a business. And I am so glad I did. That first company, I earned over $12 million with that company. And I got to tell you, what we've got our hands on with Asea doesn't even come close. It is so far above and beyond what anything else I have seen out there, because of the power of the technology, the culture of the company, and everything else. So with that said, just to give you a little bit of a framework of where we're going, I want to talk to you about the network marketing profession. Excuse me, I'll turn that off. I want to talk to you about the network marketing profession overall. I've got some slides I want to go through and show you how powerful this profession actually is. I want to talk to you about a business model, making a comparison with network marketing compared to some other things. And then I want to show you exactly what it takes to build a successful Asea business, and you do the comparison for yourself, because I think we've got a pretty strong case to be made here. So with that said, let me just go to a screen sharing here. I want to share my my PowerPoint with you. And Kayleen, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see that all right? Okay, perfect. So look, I've borrowed, or I'm using some slides from a presentation that was done by this company, the Mastermind event founder, Joan Arc. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name and the name of this company, but the content is really what I want to share with you. So the figures that I'm showing you was presented. It was 2017. It was a phenomenal year. It was a breakout year. This was a presentation that was delivered in 2018, so not long ago. But you can see where we're on track. So the number of network marketing distributors grew to 116 million people. Sales grew to 189 billion. This is both record. This is massive growth. It's record numbers. And I was looking for a slide. I couldn't find the slide, but that shows a comparison with this. So for example, we all know that the movie industry is huge. We all know that the NFL is massive. The music industry is huge. Network marketing is larger than all of those industries combined, which is mind-boggling. You think about it, and we just go into the movies. I mean, we hear about record numbers with this movie or that movie. This is absolutely enormous when you look at the potential of the network marketing business model and where we're positioned globally. So, in fact, let's just take a look at this globally. I already mentioned there was $189 million in 2017, but you can see that the trend is going, it's growing, and the fact is that people are looking for home-based businesses. They're looking for convenient ways of doing business. In fact, there are so many advantages of having a home-based business that the tax benefits, for example, the freedom of your own time, working with who you want, where you want. So people are really looking for that. And you know what? I'll tell you, it was Big Al Schreider. He said, you know what? All of us participate in network marketing. Some people just don't get paid for it. And so, Eileen, if you can maybe just mute some of the background noise, right? So I've heard people say, well, I don't consider myself to be a salesman. Look, if you're married or if you have kids, you've sold somebody something. So the fact is that we're constantly selling people, but it really isn't selling. It's more sharing, because look, if there is a good movie or a good restaurant, what do? We talk to people about it. It's a natural extension of what we do. So, it only gets weird if we make it weird. It doesn't, sharing things that we're passionate about is something that's very natural. It's very common. And I'm very excited about that. So I want you to look at this. $76 billion was paid to distributors, to associates in just in the year 2017. There is a lot of money that's going to people who are involved with this form of distribution and marketing. So company shares, and what happens is the company simply shares their profits. Now, if you look at this business model, I absolutely love this because if you actually break it down, and if we had a big room full of entrepreneurs and business owners, and if we said, look, I want you to, and I've done this many times, I said, I want you to tell me what would be an ideal business for you. If you could define, if you could define what the perfect business would be, and people shout out things like, well, the perfect business would have no employees, because employees are a huge challenge and an obstacle for people that, you know, that present. We could make a big long laundry list of finding people that are dependable, that are trustworthy, that are capable, and all sorts of things. So other things would be having a business that was, you know, where it was a low startup cost, no limit to my potential, no barrier entries for growing my business outside of a certain boundary or area. You know, the list goes on. And actually, if you look at all those things, it actually spells out what we do. So here's the cool thing. Asea does all the things that I personally don't want to do, which is to pay people, to hire people, to create websites and do design and deal with regulatory agencies. They deal with all that sort of stuff. And what they do is they share the profits with us. We get to do the thing that's fun, which is to talk to people, to just share our passion with people. So that's the thing I love is and by the way, Asea has a very generous compensation plan. This isn't going to be a compensation plan training, but I love the fact if you compare it, it's really unprecedented. It's very good. So 76 billion of those commissions or those profits goes to the people, the associates, and literally $208 million US dollars is paid every single day to distributors, to associates in our profession. So if we look at this, just $1.5 trillion in sales was generated just since 2009. Of course, this is just up until through 2017. So these figures have gone up substantially since then. But in that period of time, 600 billion was paid to associates. Again, just an illustration of the fact that a lot of people are getting paid very well for this model of marketing. So sales by region. Now this is kind of cool to look at because with Asea, we're really expanding into one of the largest markets in the world, which is Asia. And sometimes they call Australia the Australasian market because Australia can be a gateway into Asia. And I know that we've got some Australians on the line with us today, and certainly Australia is one of the fastest growing markets, but Hong Kong, Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, those are all, Singapore, those are all countries that Asea has opened up and looking to expand further. We're in most of the European countries, North America, US, Canada, we're in Mexico, South American countries. That will be, there's efforts to grow those markets as well, which is very, very exciting. So pretty cool to see how Asea has positioned itself, you know, ahead of the curve in the growth and expansion in a lot of these countries. We're certainly jumped on with the areas in the countries that are having huge growth. If we break this down just this is by billions in the different markets, you can see that the US is still leading the charge there. China is coming up, but we're not quite in China yet, but we are in Hong Kong. So that market is a tricky one to get into, but that'll grow. But and Asea has a vision for opening in, you know, some of these other countries as well. We currently are in Germany, for example. Mexico, we're open. France, Malaysia, I think is going to come on board here pretty soon. Taiwan is a very exciting market. Of course, the United Kingdom and Italy. And here's some of the other markets. I was surprised to see that the Philippines was actually a bigger market than Australia. But again, I mentioned Thailand is currently on board. I know that there's a lot of people that have put some real energy into Colombia, and we expect big things there. Again, very exciting opportunities globally that we have. So now this is very cool to look at. So if we break down the network marketing profession and we look at the different categories that are the biggest parts of our market, I want you to notice that the two that are the biggest are wellness products, which obviously is what we're involved with, a cellular health technology that is unprecedented, that no one else has, is pretty cool thing to have. So That's the thing I love about what we have is not only do we have a good product, we've got no competition in that market. So there's lots of good products, there's lots of good companies, but to have something that nobody else has that is so profound as what we have, it's something that everybody needs and wants, particularly if they really understand and appreciate what we've got our hands on here. So, sorry, I'm getting some beeps here. Let me see if I can turn off some notifications. Sorry about that. Or maybe it stopped. So let me just go back to my share screen again. Nope, it hasn't stopped. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. I think it's people announcing exciting events happening with Asea all over the globe. So
that's exactly what's happening. And
yeah,
I actually don't know.
Through on my phone too. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully I've been able to mute those. So
just shows our business is never stopping. It's happening all over the world, all times of the day. It's super exciting.
That's right. Thanks, Kayleen. Let's see. So yeah, so the wellness industry, we've got something that's unprecedented there with that technology, and then with the Asea Via line, that also fits in the wellness category. And then the other thing that's really fascinating here is the cosmetic and the personal care industry. So, so I had a gentleman who was the managing director for a very large network marketing company, different company than Asea. He said, Bart, do you realize how big the skincare industry is? He says it's 20 times larger than the vitamin industry. So the skincare industry is massive, and we've got the only cellular, the only skincare product that is got redox. It's the only redox signaling skincare product in the world. So there's nothing that you can do at a higher level for your health on your skin too. So it's pretty amazing what we've got. They've actually enhanced that with the whole Renew Advanced line, and so phenomenal products. I'm telling you, these are products that you can absolutely get behind, that you can believe in. You can, you can have a missionary zeal with, preaching to the world that you need to get on these products because they are that good. And again,
Bart, do you mean to have your screen shared again? You're back in just
absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I thought I had done that.
That's okay. It's no problem. You're managing all that exciting communication coming in.
Yeah, I hit show from the slide, but it obviously didn't.
Okay, good. We're back in. We can see your screen now. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. So again, I'll just summarize the two slides that we've got: the wellness profession, and the personal care, of course, with the Renew and the Renew Advanced. These are mind-blowing products for these categories. So huge areas for the potential of our business. So let's just take a look at where the distributors that are globally. Currently, there's 116.7 million distributors globally, and that's just as of 2017. So obviously, we've had some growth even since then. But once again, just to summarize, we've got a massive movement where people are looking for home-based businesses, people who can control their own destiny, and they can bring a spouse home, or they can create more freedom. And that's what Asea does as well, and network marketing does, is it creates freedom. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through. So over the last, just since 2014, there's been a $20 billion growth. This is annual growth of 3.7% per year. So both sales and distribution numbers are set for new records. It's just a fantastic industry that we're involved with. Now, here's something really exciting that I wanted to share with you. And that's the fact that network marketing is one of the few places where women can earn dollar for dollar what men earn. It doesn't matter whether you're young, old, black, white, male, female. I love the fact that Asea compensates people for what they do, what they build, what they create. And so we have a huge market. In fact, I believe it's 74% of network marketing, of people in network marketing happen to be women. Women have an incredible way of gift for gab and talking with their friends and families. Guys do too, but women have a unique knack at it. And so we've got a huge market here. So if you're a guy on this call, this is something really important to keep in mind, to really look for sharp, switched on women who love to help people, want to make a difference, and who are looking for financial independence. So, and if if we look at this, the majority, the top 20% of income earners in network marketing are women, or you could say couples. But let's just take a look at that within Asea, for example. Our number one income earner is Trish Swankler. And Trish I've known Trish for about I've known Trish for for 25 years. And Trish, she prides herself in saying that she has a PhD, which stands for Public High School Diploma. Fact is Trish would tell you that she's never really had a real job in her whole life. Her husband was successful in the computer industry. Came home from work one day. He had been downsized, right-sized, capsized, and she just got after it, made a decision to build a successful network marketing business. And so she was a leader in a previous company, and she is an absolute rock star in our business. So Trish is a presidential triple diamond, and she is the driving force in their business. Not to diminish Bob's efforts by any means. He helps with the background stuff, but she's really the driving force and has been for years. And then if we look at the number two income earner, that would be Denny Robinson. And Denny and Tom Robinson are a couple. Tom is very supportive, but he has his own accounting firm and business, and so he provides some support. But without question, Denny Robinson is the driving force in that business. So so there you go. That really plays out in our business as well. So it's just great. Maybe some of the top income earners in network marketing, I guess people do things for different reasons. Sometimes men are looking for merit-based income system, and they look at the income, which kind of drives their motivation. I think sometimes everybody gets into this for different reasons, whether it's helping people or creating financial security and stability, and we just need to address what their needs and concerns are. But let's just take a look at this, the network marketing business activity. So 6.5 million distributors were part-time or full-time in the network marketing business. So what we're looking at is, there's quite a few. Now, the fact is a lot of people get into network marketing simply to be customers. Nothing wrong with that. And so we see a lot of people that, order some products and maybe get out, or they just become, discount buyers. They want to get the products wholesale. So that's fine. But what we're looking at is what the potential for the people who really want to build a business with this, and there's a lot. Okay, so the next thing is network marketing. This is similar to the previous slide, which just goes to the sales per product. And again, wellness, that category is pretty massive. Beauty and personal care product is way up there as well. So network marketing offers everyone an equal opportunity. Like I said, it doesn't matter whether you're, what race, age, religion, or level of education. You can really build something quite amazing here. Now, this is important. I want to share something else with you, because we want to look at the demographics by age. So, I would fall just barely in the baby boomers category here. Actually, I'm 56. So that would be 27% of the people in our profession. It's a pretty substantial group. The Gen X is 38 to 52. This would really constitute the majority of people in Asea. But if we look at the millennials, this is a very large group of people that really want to take control of their own destiny. They don't like to answer to other people too much, and I think that we've got a huge market here for this age group. We just need to show those people the value and the consistency of how to build this and the potential that has. So network marketing is geared for growth. You can see that in the next 5 years, this will be they'll generate another $1 trillion. And which means just in the next 5 years, $400 billion is going to be paid to associates. And the decision is just how big of a piece of that would you like, because it's all out there. Network marketing is no longer on trial. People who are naysayers about network marketing, quite frankly, are just ignorant. They don't understand what it is. And it's just our job, and that's not to be rude. They just need to have a little bit of education. They just need to understand what our profession is and what it's about. And sometimes we, as associates, need to deliver that message with a little bit more class sometimes, but just realize that we have a gift, and it's, whatever our product or service is, may or may not be for, it's not necessarily for everybody. Although I think our product is for everybody, but the business model may not be for everybody, I guess is the main point. Now, here's something that I really want to point out. Now, I want to just tell you, I was listening to a presentation from our CEO, Chuck Funky. And Chuck presented a presentation that I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I could totally relate with his presentation because it was sort of the way that I looked at network marketing to begin with as well, which I kind of led this call with when I said, when I looked at this, I thought, what else on earth could I be doing where I could be making, $60,000 a month, or, even, really a decent income without going back to school and trying to study to be a lawyer or a doctor or something that I really didn't want to do and ended up deeply in debt. He said that the network marketing, or the Asea opportunity for that matter, that people miss it because so many people miss the opportunity because when opportunity knocks, it's dressed in overall and it looks like work. It is called network marketing for a reason. It's not net wish marketing. It's not network, net hope marketing. It's network marketing. It takes some time. It takes some effort, just like anything else that's worthwhile. But and that's where some people, have a little bit of a misrepresentation. We want to present the true and real case for what this is. Now, here's the thing that I found was interesting. Barrier to entry. Doesn't matter what you do, there's always going to be a barrier to entry, whether it's the cost of starting a business or the education that's involved in starting a business. So we're going to look at the barrier to entry in several things, but particularly the medical industry, and then we'll look at what the barrier to entry is with Asea. Actually, before I touch on the medical school, let's just talk about the franchise industry. In fact, I was just looking at some statistics. If you wanted to open up a McDonald's franchise, for example, it'd be probably about $2 million, $1.5 to $2 million to start that. You've got a lot of upfront costs, a lot of liabilities, and even when you own that, you don't own the property. You own the franchise. You own the income stream. But and you can look at any franchise, and they've got, it is a good business model, but the barrier to entry is substantial. Now let's just take a look at the medical school. And this, I absolutely remember so clearly, just like it was yesterday, when this analogy was going through my head. Medical school, I thought, well, God, if what else could you possibly do? To be a top paid surgeon, maybe they could earn that kind of income that Dave was earning, using his example. But I thought, the time, the effort, the education, the debt. In fact, the average debt for a medical school graduate is $190,000. 57% were over $200,000 of debt upon graduating. So you go through all that pain and suffering, literally 4 years of pre-graduate, the pre-med, for example, or biology to get your undergraduate work. And then that just gets you a ticket to do the next thing, which is to take the MCAT. Now, the MCAT stands for, let's see, it's the Medical College Admissions Test is what the MCAT is. And, so if you look at this, 87,000 people took the MCAT. Now, this was after they had already done 4 years of study. And the interesting thing is that the attrition rate was pretty substantial just from people that took the MCAT. Only 53,000, they lost nearly 30,000 people that said, I don't think medical school's what I want to do. And so only 21,030 people were accepted into medical school. So that was figures in 2018. It's kind of interesting. I had mentioned, barriers to entry. I got a background in, did a little work in the oil and gas industry before too. And, if you want to get in that profession, you're talking about so much money. I digress a little bit. But the fact is, you look at any other profession, restaurant business or franchise business, there's just a huge barrier to entry. And particularly if we're looking at medical school, a lot of us, we thought, geez, being a doctor, maybe our parents wanted us to become a doctor or something, but it's not easy to get in. Now, this is just the starting place. So if we look at the next thing, only, let's see, in medical school in 2018, 19,553 people graduated in the U.S. in medical school. So this is after about, about 12 years worth of study, 11, 12 years of study. So that's only 22.6%. Now you could look at the statistic and say, well, gee, is that a failing industry? Is that, well, and the answer is no. It's kind of the 80-20 rule, that you're going to find that 20% of people in any industry, any profession, are going to be the people who actually excel and succeed. And it's the people who persevere that make the decision to move forward. So, so here's what I find fascinating too. So let's just say, for example, you're going to say, well, what can I do to really create and design a life for my family? Let's say you decide to go down the medical route. So right now you've already spent 12 years in school, 11, 12 years in school, and now it's time for your residency. Now, these guys that are doing a residency have no life. And quite frankly, they're not earning a very good income either. These are, cardiology, they're working, these guys are working, 60, 70 hours a week and really not getting paid all that well. So these residencies can go for, sometimes 4, 5, 6 years. And you can see the time that's, that they have to put in every single week. So they're not paid extremely well, but now here's where the reward pays off. And this is, they're getting paid quite well. So there's certainly people who are earning more and there's people who are earning less. These are the average pay for these various professions. And you know what? They should get paid extremely well for what they do. But what's the cost? What's the barrier to entry? What is the debt? And of course, when they're in this position, they still have to open up their practice, which requires sometimes more debt and more obligations. So it's quite interesting to do the comparison. Now, something very exciting I want to share with you is if you look at the average Asea compensation, if you look at the Asea compensation plan, if you look at the average income for the average diamond, it took him 21 months to hit the diamond level. And the average income is $190,000, $190,416 per diamond. Triple diamonds are earning, nearly $500,000, and ambassador diamonds are earning basically 3 or 4 times what the average doctor or surgeon would be earning. So pretty fascinating when you look at the time and the comparison and the realization, of what this is in comparison. Absolutely fascinating. So again, if you look at the barrier to entry, what is the barrier to entry with Asea? It's $40, $40 US, about $60 in Australia. So this would be just the equivalent of whatever the currency is in the country that you're in. And that's really maybe one of the challenges, because it's so easy to get involved with and set up a business. People don't understand, and quite frankly, they quite often don't appreciate what we've got our hands on because it's just too bloody easy. This $40 gives you the potential to build a massive, massive business. And so you want to treat it like a business. So I can see that my good friend Dan Doyle is on with us, and he says, invest in this just as though, or actually, Kayleen, I think you looked like Dan Doyle because you had your picture on there. So I was a little, but the fact is that if you treat this like you did put $1 million into it, treated it like you invested in a franchise, then it would, it'd be entirely different. So that's the biggest thing, is people treat it like a hobby instead of like a business. So, so let's take a look. Here's where I want to transition now. This is the cool thing. So if we're going to really treat this like a business, what does that actually look like? What do you need to do to receive these kind of incomes? And I can tell you, you got to pay a price, but my goodness, is it anywhere close to being the price that we just discussed? I can, from personal experience, I can tell you absolutely not. Now, we work pretty hard to build a business, a team, and to help people to succeed. Gosh, I love that side of it too. There's really no competition with what we have. It's really helping other people. A rising tide lifts all ships. So the way that you get ahead in this profession is to help other people succeed. But I think the most important thing in our profession is to know what you want to achieve, and know what you want and know what you want to become, because it's not just about what you want, because believe me, to hit the diamond ranks, to hit the ambassador, the presidential ranks, you're going to be a different person. You're going to grow. personally, I think that life is all about, we're either growing or we're dying. And the thing I love about Asea is the people who are attracted to what we do, particularly our culture, are people who are self-motivated, they're people who are ambitious, they're people who genuinely like helping other people, and they're also the kind of people who want more out of life. Now, I don't know about you, but those are the kind of people I like to hang out with. Those are the kind of people I really want to grow with and strive with. So I would encourage you to think big, to dream big, because that helps to inspire other people who want to join and be a part of what you want, to feel like it's a global purpose or a mission. And so it's pretty cool to do that. So when you're clear, like I said, people want to be on a train that's going somewhere. So you get your vision, you get your purpose, maybe create a vision board. Sorry, the PowerPoint's a little messed up there, but experience the products. First thing you got to do is to be a product of the product, and you want to lead by example. So this business model is all about duplications. So select a product plan, get set up on auto ship, which is a vital part of our business to create duplication, and then track your results so that you can improve. You want to share Asea with other people. I mean, that's pretty obvious. You want to make a list of names. And by the way, when you make a list of names, who are these products for? Well, when I really understood what this was, I flew to Salt Lake City. I met with the founders of this company, Vertus Norton, Tyler Norton. I met the executive team. I met Dr. Gary Samuelson, the atomic medical physicist. And I remember felt like a spiritual moment, quite frankly. I just had goosebumps everywhere. I said, everybody I know, everybody I care about, everybody I love needs to know about this product, about this technology, regardless of whether they decide to join me in the business or not. And so when you have that kind of passion, that conviction, you can honestly go out there and talk with people. Now, it's their choice whether they jump on. You want to really detach yourself from the emotional roller coaster of that, because some will and some won't. It doesn't really matter. Just learn a script. Get good at it. Just get comfortable talking with people. Anything worth doing well is worth doing poorly first. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be sincere and be a good listener. Set some daily goals so that you're tracking it. Your DMO, your daily mode of activity. So you're making a list of people that you're going to call, that you're going to follow up, that sort of stuff. It's simply being professional. Then you want to get plugged in. So we have a remarkable team of people and support and training calls, just like this one, quite frankly, that you can plug in and you can get your new people plugged into. So we do weekly workshops, attend. It's interesting, but showing up is half the battle. I mean, really, the people who get in, stay in, and get plugged in are the people who succeed. And so you definitely want to get plugged in, and then you want to work with a mentor. And you simply teach other people to do the same. So a mentor can be your sponsor. It can be upline, but you want to get a little bit of coaching and counseling. Stephen Covey talks about it as sharpening the saw. We all just get better at doing what we do and learning to share Asea more effectively with people. Diamond is the dream. So let's just take a look at what it takes to build a diamond distributorship. But diamond is obviously just the beginning. But if we look at the compensation plan, it's kind of broken down into the various ranks here, like climbing the mountain. The first executive level is bronze. That's a really great target to shoot for. And then diamond. So we're going to take a look at the diamond ranks and see exactly what that takes to hit those. But before I do that, let me just give you an income disclosure statement. So this comes directly from Asea. This is 2018 income disclosure. And you can see that the average, sorry about that, that the average monthly income is, sorry, let me just mute my video. Okay, back on track here. So as my dog giving me a little bit of help here. I guess he was excited when I started talking about the compensation plan. Yeah, so the bronze level, the average bronze is earning, and by the way, these are Australian figures. Sorry, I just need to do one thing here real quick.
Hey guys, while Bart's taking care of that, I just wanted to let you know the income disclosure statement that he's showing is actually in your library. If you go into your back office and you hit menu and then you hit library, and you look in the middle section, there's, at least for the US market, it might be different on the Australian library area, but there's an area labeled compensation. And at the very bottom of that, you'll see income disclosure statement. And it's definitely good to pull this up, be familiar with it yourself, and you can certainly use it as a tool as well while you're actually, introducing the business opportunity to people. Because it's quite common that someone will, ask these kinds of things. Well, what kind of income can I make? And if I hit bronze, or when I go diamond, even existing associates are probably asking you these questions. And so this is the official correct income disclosure resource that we can use both with associates as well as prospects.
Yep.
Okay, good. Bart, back over to you.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thanks, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
I had the something being delivered to the door, and my dogs like to let me know. They're
protecting the territory, right?
That's right. So yeah, these in the U.S. these figures are going to be a little bit different just because of the conversion rate. But you can see, I think it's $15,000 US, if I'm not mistaken, for the average diamond. So you can see these are pretty substantial incomes, and we kind of talked about that before, what that meant. And you can see that this goes right up into the ambassador and above ranks that are incredible monthly incomes. So let's just take a look at this. Now, what Asea has done is they've taken all the diamonds, all the people who have achieved that. So the people who had, paid their dues, like the doctor example that we just went through, and they said, how long did it take them to hit the diamond level, and what were the incomes that they actually were at all these various levels. So we already showed the income disclosure statement, but the average diamond only took them 21 months to achieve that. Now, this wasn't 12 years of medical school before they were able to achieve those kind of income levels. But obviously, these people treated it like a business. So that's what we want to look at right now: is what does it take? And some people have done it in less time. Some people it's taken them longer time. But what I wanted to know was what was possible. And averages I wasn't particularly interested in when I looked at this profession, or particularly when I looked at Asea. What's an average? Is that the worst of the best? Is that the best of the worst? Is it the cream of the crap? I wasn't sure. I wanted to know what was possible. What does it take to build this? And so, it's quite frankly, there's nothing magical about it. It's really straightforward. So let's look at this. The average diamond has sponsored only 43 associates to achieve diamond. That's only 2 to 4 people a month. Now, my goodness, how many people do you know who want to feel better, sleep better, have more energy, more vitality, who want to improve their athletic performance, who want to who want to have a higher quality of life for a family member? I mean, this is ridiculously low numbers if you really look at what the power of this product is. And it's not a lot of people. So for every person that they sponsored, now this is important because what they did is it's not just about who they sponsored, but it's that these leaders, these diamonds, have also learned to simply create duplication. Now, the fact is a lot of people are going to come in and be customers. That's something we want to just realize from the beginning. But what we're looking for is people who really do want more, and people we want to help people to share it with other people easily and effectively. And for those people that really want to do what you want to do, which is to build a successful business with those, that's where you want to focus your time and create more duplication. So for each person, there were 38 other people that had joined their organization. Again, this is just in the 21-month period of time. From those 43, if we add those up, that creates, they would have 1,627 people in their team, in their organization, up to 10 levels in depth. So as I kind of mentioned, these people helped other people to succeed. Again, the business model of helping other people instead of a competitive business model. In fact, they helped 41 people achieve the executive ranks. We already showed you the income disclosure statements, so the executive rank was at bronze and then above, so you can see that we're really helping other people to succeed. And the average diamond helped someone else go diamond at the same time. So I love that part about it. So how did the Australian diamonds compare with the average Asea diamonds? Now, recently I did a presentation at the Gold Coast in Australia, and I looked at some of the leaders, on our team, and here's some of the people that I looked at and evaluated. So I'm just going to show you some examples of some people. Dan Doyle. Dan is someone who is one of the first people I thought of when I heard about this business. Dan had some very serious health challenges, but also I recognize Dan as a tremendous, just a great guy, just a super great guy, obviously entrepreneurial as well. Dan hit the diamond level in 16 months. So, and by the way, when we started in Australia, all we had was Renew 28. We didn't even have Asea. We had to ship Asea in through a reshipping company. It cost a lot more money, but we didn't let that stop us. So with a very limited base of products, we just got started and made the decision. So if we look over the first 21 months, the red line shows what the average diamond did and what they earned. And this is Danny's income in comparison. And here's something I wanted to really point out. So one thing that you'll notice in network marketing is typically successful. In fact, I'd say probably every diamond has done a 90-day massive, all-out massive burst or blast in their business where they've really had a sponsoring or a recruiting kind of a push. It's a business model that we absolutely promote. Slow and steady does not win the race. You want to build a burst and then support and steady for a while and then do another burst. That's kind of a good way of building it. So Danny in his first 90 days sponsored 22 people, and he would actually tell you that this was before he actually really decided to jump in with both feet. But he achieved diamond in 16 months, as I mentioned. Over the first 21 months, he sponsored 78 people, which was, if we average this out, is less than one person per week, 3.71 people per month. So those 78 people added another 3,127 associates in that first 21 months, creating about 300,000 in income. And that if we average that out, that's over $14,000 a month. Now, sometimes in the beginning, you get paid for things that you don't necessarily do. You don't get paid a lot. And then after a while, you get paid pretty well for what you do. And then after that, you start getting paid for things that you're not doing because you've created more duplication. So these figures are a little bit dated. These figures are February of this year, 2019. So at that point, Danny would have been in for 4 years, 4 months. He'd sponsored 134 people, had a downline of 24,000. This is well over 30,000 now. And his income at that point was approaching 2 million. So again, just to highlight the 90-day burst and also the averages, the average income. There you can see. Mal Sword is another tremendous leader. And I like to show this slide because Mal hit the diamond in 19 months, sort of. Because some people get into Asea and then Asea later gets into them. So the fact is that Mal had started, this is kind of his graph, but let me just get to this point. So Mal had actually taken a position. He actually flew over to Salt Lake City with Danny to look at this, but because he had his feet in some other camps, had some other business interests, he didn't jump in straight away. So in fact, he sat there inactive for 14 months. So as we look at Mal's numbers, just keep in mind that this actually was after 14 months from the time that he enrolled, and that's what we're going to call his restart date. And I like this because a lot of times people get into Asea, they maybe don't get started right away for a multitude of reasons. Maybe it's just personal challenges, issues, maybe the timing just isn't right, any number of things. But remember having a chat with Mal and him making the decision. He sponsored 25 people in that 90-day burst. He achieved diamond in 19 months from that restart date, which is a total of 64 people that he put in 24 months. And you can just kind of see how these numbers have spilled out. At this point in time, Mal Sword is an ambassador double diamond. He's earning a substantial income every month. These figures have gone up substantially over that period of time. Like I said, these figures are pretty dated compared to what's happened since. But again, we're just kind of looking at these averages, which give you a real good idea that that anybody can really do this. It's just a matter of deciding. I'll just go through our numbers. This is myself and Melissa. We achieved diamond in 18 months. So you can see that this is kind of our graph. And we put in 20 people in the first 90 days, sponsored 63 people in the first 21 months. And you can see kind of what the similar income earnings were. And we've just recently been recognized as earning over $1 million with US dollars. These are Australian figures, which are going to be a little bit different. But in US dollars, we were just recognized in the $1 million club. So we're proud of that and excited about what that represents by helping other people to succeed too. So, so the fact is diamond's the dream, but the truth is that that's only the beginning, because this represents where the income level is at diamond. But as you move up to the ambassador double and triple diamond ranks, and then of course into the presidential ranks, you can see that this is a real graph based on real income, which is a result of helping other people succeed. So I want you to think about this. We've talked a lot about money, okay? And I know that there's a lot of people that get into Asea because they love helping other people. And sometimes this conversation can even feel uncomfortable talking about, you know, the income and the money potential. But I want you to realize that for every dollar that you earn, it represents making a difference in the lives of other people. There are two kinds of pain. There's physical pain. We all know that. There's another kind of pain, which is called financial pain. And I believe that probably everybody here can relate with that too. And I would just ask you, is that painful? It's incredibly painful. The stress, the challenges that can create on relationships, that cause leading to divorce and family arguments, all those kind of things. We've got a vehicle that can help people with both of those things. Now, something that I needed to know, a couple slides I just want to share with you here before, as we kind of wrap up this presentation, maybe open it up to some Q&A at the end. Something that I needed to know was this company financially solid? Was it stable? Was it sound? In fact, I'm almost embarrassed to admit that I was approached by about Asea right in the very beginning, and I just didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't really appreciate what the technology was because I didn't take the time. Truth is I was making a very good income with another company, and so I wasn't hungry, you might say. But in our network marketing, and by the way, this statistic plays out with most businesses. The statistic is businesses failing. I think there's about a 97, 98% failure rate in 5 years. And, Asea is well and truly past that. In fact, last year they did over 125 million in revenue. They are incredibly solid. They're very sound. They own their own manufacturing facility. They've been in business now well over that 5-year kind of benchmark that a lot of people look at. We're 10 years of being in business now. And this manufacturing facility can actually produce $1 billion worth of product right from there. So they are set up for global growth and expansion. And distribution centers all over the place. But what's really important here too is to realize where we're going. We expect Asea to be $1 billion a year company in the next 5 to 7 years. So, man, talk about timing. You just could not get better timing. In fact, if we were to look at this, we're hitting this coveted stage in network marketing companies called a momentum phase. Eric Worre, who's the top trainer in our profession, talks about this. He says, man, if you are lucky enough to be in the momentum phase, that's when you really want to run. You don't just hang out of you don't just get in and sit there. It's the time to really put in all out massive action and effort, because your efforts will be rewarded substantially over the next little while. So this is the graph of kind of the beginning of the company. This is where we're at right now. This growth in 2019 has continued to excel exactly at this parallel. This is the time to really make things happen. So just in summary, just a couple things to highlight. I hope that you really can appreciate what we've got our hands on, particularly compared to traditional businesses, compared to what else you can do. It's absolutely worth paying the time. But I think the biggest challenge is that people quite often, because, like for example, in the medical field, you pay all those dues up front before you have the rewards on the backside. In network marketing, it's just the opposite. And sometimes we bring people in the business that we think are going to be absolutely fantastic, and they just kind of fizzle out and do nothing. And then, quite frankly, we can have people like a Trish Schwenkler, who's stay-at-home mom, never been involved with network marketing, who's just absolutely a rock star. They're passionate. They love getting out and helping people. So some people will surprise you, but it's really important when you have the long-term perspective and realize that. Just realize that barrier for growth, what it is, treat it like a business, work it in a 90-day burst, in a 90-day blast to create that that business. Also, network marketing loves a consistent, steady effort. So it's a business that you can work part-time or you can work it full-time, but you can't work it sometimes. You have to be consistent with your effort. Otherwise, your efforts will it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps backward sometimes if you do that, but you want to keep the momentum on. You also want to have fun. You want to create a sense of urgency. People want to join you in your business if you're having a good time. And we have got the most amazing group of people. In fact, if we have a big convention happening in September, Asea throws an amazing convention and a great party. You just want to get around these people and just have fun, stay connected. In fact, stay connected was the next slide. Get plugged into everything. You know what? Half of success in life is just showing up. It is absolutely so true. You want to get plugged into the tools, the training, the systems, the support, get to know, network with both upline, with downline, and then also to work in depth. So what this means is that your job is not to just bring people in, but when you bring people, find out what they want out of this and then help them to get after it and make that happen. So we do that by just helping to get people plugged in and teaching and educating them. So obviously that leads to helping people rank advance and help people to identify what their why is. When people have, it doesn't matter what you do in life, you're going to have, it's a little bit like a roller coaster ride. You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. But when you're real clear on why you're doing it, that gets you through the challenging times. It really does. And so, like I said, you're going to have good and bad days, but when you make a list of some goals, some dreams, some aspirations, why do you want to do this? That's the thing that will get you out of bed and get you to that point where you'll pick up the phone and make another call when maybe you thought you didn't want to. At the end of the day, you want to be the leader that you desire to attract. So what that means is it's all about personal growth. It's all about personal development. You want to constantly be feeding your mind full of the right kind of stuff. You want to educate yourself. You want to read books. You want to get on Audibles, for example. You want to just be around people. I learned early on that the things that you read, the things that you listen to, and the people that you associate with are going to determine where you're going to be in 5 years from now. So, look at where you're investing your time, your effort, and energy. I have no idea what I've heard the statistics. I can't remember them off the top of my head, how much time the average person spends in front of the television. And it's shocking. It's actually staggering to realize how many hours, like a full-time job, that they would be working in front of the TV. You just reinvest that time into yourself and into building your dreams. It's incredible what you can create. So with that, I'm just going to stop the share of the screen and turn the time back over to you, Kayleen.
Thanks, Bart. That was phenomenal. It was great to just get a sort of business perspective, across the board of, I took really good notes. What are the barriers of joining any kind of business or any professional industry? What is the cost? What is the debt that you're going to incur? And then, what's happening with network marketing. And I think it is phenomenal that it is a place where women can have an even playing ground. And I saw that when I went to Eric Worre's and his wife's professional networking conference that was focused on women, which men attend as well. But, you really do see women just having no barriers to what they feel like they can produce and develop professionally and globally. And it's super cool. There were people from all over the world there. I know we're near the end of our time, but I think we could open it up for a few questions. And one question in particular, I was kind of curious if you might advise us, because we hear this quite often, take these 90-day blitzes. And what do you have any guidelines when someone's going, I'm going to take a 90-day blitz? Or if they're a leader of a team motivating their downline to take a 90-day blitz, what are the kind of tasks or goals that are important to focus on in terms of, obviously you have the valuable final product of enrollments and increased associates and consumers, but the things you want to be doing to get there. Can you share a bit with that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that you want to do, first thing you want to do is first task is to get clear on what your why is. Okay, so really spend a little bit of time and say, and don't be afraid to dream a little bit. I mean, honestly, if I gave you a magic wand and I said, if this was a, if this was a magic wand, I want you to just play pretend with me for a second. And if Asea was a vehicle that could create anything for you, it's like saying if you won the lottery, if you had your magic wand, if you had your genie lamp, what would you want if this was a vehicle that could create anything for you, your family, and just pretend that you're 6 years old again and you have no barriers of belief, because believe me, we all have these limited beliefs. But just, where would you go? Where would you travel? Get specific. This whole idea of, oh, I'd like financial freedom. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You want to put a little juice into it, a little passion. Where would you travel? Who would you take with you? What kind of opportunities and experiences would you want to create? And gosh, it's so cool to see some of the things that are happening right now within my own team, within our own team, of seeing the trips and experiences that people are creating. I know Bertus Norton said it, and sorry, I digress a little bit, but this is so important to me. Bertus Norton said, when you earn money, create memories. And I have so much respect for Bertus, and it's cool to see some of the people in our team creating those memories and those experiences and doing these fantastic, doing some beautiful trips and stuff. So have some end goals. Obviously, you want to set some shorter term goals as well. So when you hit Director 300, you're not going to go and buy a Ferrari or something. You want to put them in perspective, but that's where hey guys, when you tell the kids when this happens, we're going to go out to movie and going out to a movie and an ice cream or something, but you want to create some fun goals along the way. The next thing, let's just kind of get down to the business of what it takes, the activity, which is what you really asked about. The first thing you need to do is you need to build a list. Now, what a lot of people do is they think, oh, this is really great. I know 3, 4, 5 people that would be absolutely great at this. I'm going to go and get them in my business. I know if I help them succeed, I can take this all the way to the top. So now let's say that you're fully armed with 4 names, and you're you're ready to go talk with them about Asea. And what if they say, let's say you talk to 2 of them, they say, oh, thanks, but no thanks, or you're doing what? It's a network marketing business. If they had some sort of negative beliefs like I did in the beginning, all of a sudden you're 50% out of business. Now, how does that feel? You've just been stabbed in the heart. That sucks. That doesn't feel very good. So what you want to do is you want to make a big list and clearly get real clear that the product is for everybody. The business may not be for everybody, but you want to talk with so many people, it doesn't really matter whether people say yes, no, or maybe later. You don't want to ride an emotional roller coaster. When you have a long-term perspective and you realize that, this is going to take a while. So when for example, when I first got started in network marketing, I clearly remember I clearly remember making an absolute 100% decision that I was going to treat this like a business, just the same as if I was going to, if I was going to law school or if I was going to medical school. I was going to absolutely apply myself with that kind of, drive and attention. So if you think of it that way and you think, if this is my profession, if this isn't my franchise that I'm building, how are you going to treat it? You're going to talk to people differently. You're going to talk to people with conviction and commitment and follow through. It's treating it like a professional. So make a list, a big list. I would encourage you to turn off your phone, turn off the TV, and go through every contact that you possibly have. Make a huge capture list of everybody that you can possibly think of. And when you think of your friends, your mom, for example, well, who does she know? You start thinking about her network, your brothers, who do they know? And Eric Worre has a great tracker. It's called the Ultimate Business Tracker. I'm not sure if I can share that on this, but let's see, it's called the Ultimate Memory Jogger, I believe. And it really just makes you brainstorm everybody that you know. So even if you've been in for a while, it's not a bad idea to go back through that because you'll think of new names. So, your Christmas card list, your family and friends. Personally, I think I prefer talking with people, particularly when we've got a product like this. It's not trying to sell people someone, it's educating them on a product that they absolutely need to know about. And so take the fear out of it. And when you talk to people, don't, if you're thinking about yourself, that's usually where the fear comes in. It's a little scarier. It's easier to talk to people about the product, but if you're asking someone to, consider joining you in a business, sometimes that can be kind of scary for people. But if you just think, how can Asea be a blessing for them or their family or the people that they care about? All of a sudden now you're looking at their needs and their interests, their concerns. So it's, that's what I would do is to look at what their needs are. So what you want to do is just make a plan. Your daily activities, for example, would be to make a list of how many new people a day you want to contact. It's a great idea to get plugged in, and you can create an in-home and do an in-home presentation where you can turn on a webinar and click play. It's already been pre-recorded, or you can plug into some of the live webinars that we have on an ongoing basis that are great. As you get going, you might want to do your own presentation, but don't try to do that straight away. What you want to do is to introduce people, to make a connection, to pique interest. Your job is to pique interest in the beginning, and then to get them on the phone with someone that can answer their questions and get them to an event. And then it's simply just following through with those people, helping them to helping set them up for success. So it's really just being the best product user that we can be ourselves, making some goals, talking with people, and helping them get started, and then just creating that cycle over and over again. So it's not complicated. This is this isn't brain surgery. using the medical analogy, it's pretty simple stuff. Sometimes we can overcomplicate it. Just realize that you've got a gift. It's a gift of health. It's a gift of wealth, and you're looking for people that you would genuinely like to work with, to build a business with. And when you talk to people, particularly if they're people who you have a lot of admiration and respect for, the influential people that you want to talk with, in fact, that's really who you want to talk to, are your influencers. Tell them. I remember that first three-way phone call I was on with Dave Johnson. He told me, he said, hey Bart, Bruce has said some really nice things about you. He said that you're really ambitious, that you're self-motivated, you're a real go-getter, real people person. Is that true? And I remember sitting up a little taller. I said, yeah, that's me. And obviously it was buttering me up, but it felt good. People like to hear nice things. Now, I'm not telling you to be insincere by any stretch of the imagination, but if you talk to people, one of the greatest compliments that you can give someone is to say, I would really like you to consider joining me in a business. And the reason is because, Kayleen, I absolutely love how you are with other people. You're organized, you're efficient, you got a great sense of humor. I love your smile. I think we could, your background experience, I think we could have a lot of fun. I think we could help a lot of people, and we could make a lot of money together. I want you to do me a personal favor. I want you to take a really good look at this, because what we've got our hands on is something amazing. In fact, truth is if you see half of what I see in this, you'll be so excited you won't be able to sleep at night. Would you do me a personal favor and really just have a real good look at this for me and with me? Now, what are people going to say? Even if she decides no, would you be offended by that kind of approach at all, Kayleen? No, you're gonna feel good.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, because like you said, it lifts up all the positive things that you love about that person. And so then they're more open to listening to, why you think this might contribute to their life. That's actually super cool.
Yeah. Now let's say, for example, you think, well, I'm not sure. I feel more comfortable talking about the product. I'm going to just tell you that if you ask people to consider joining you in a business and they say no, you can always ask them to become a customer. But if you ask them if they're interested in being a customer and they say no, it just seems really weird. If you come, well, how about joining me in selling it? It doesn't work. So you can always have that fallback position. Well, look, just have a look at the products. I'd love you to become a customer. When you know what these products are doing for people, the truth is you're going to want to, you'll know some people that really need this product. And, I'd be happy to talk with those people, and letting them know about it. But let me send you, would it be okay if I send you some information so you can have a look? I'd really value your opinion. And so you just want to pique interest, and then really put them, if you can, put them on the phone with someone else that can answer their questions and create a little bit of synergy. Have a third-party expert is always really good. And there's just so many things that we can plug people into: presentations, tools, events, and especially, man, if anybody's sitting on the fence, get them to come to convention, because holy cow, they'll just watch things take off. It's just where people get big visions at big events. So get plugged into everything. I mean, it's really as simple as that. Any other questions that we got from anybody?
Yeah, that's awesome. So guys, obviously we don't want to go too much later, but if you have any questions at all, put them in the chat box really quick. I want to acknowledge you, Bart, and tell you guys the beauty of how this business really works globally. So while I'm telling you guys a quick story that just happened this weekend, please put your questions in the chat box, and we will end off in a few minutes because I know it's late for the East Coast, USA in particular. But, so we had a Super Saturday this weekend in Florida, and, Bart is our upline, and we were going back and forth, and Bart and Melissa have been phenomenal in advising me and our team with Maurizio and Milton and the whole team on how we can, really start to build events more in Florida and in the Southeast. And so he himself, of course, set the lead as a leader and said, all right, I've got to make sure I get some guests there. And he really, persisted with a guy that he literally met in Bali. I don't remember even how long ago, who he knew lived in Florida. And the guy was super busy. And Bart was just, persisting, getting his attention, invited him to come up. And I think he actually, if Austin's still on the call tonight, he might be, but this is such a cool story, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so this new friend, Austin, who again, wasn't a long-term, lifelong friend of Bart's at all, just a person that he happened to meet when they were both in another country where they didn't even live. He reached out to him. He convinced him how valuable it would be to come up to our event in Florida. Austin was amazing, drove, over 4 hours to come be with us, despite, some physical things going on that might not have made that ideal. He showed up. He not only came to our Discover Asea thing, but he even stayed for the associate training workshop. Bart texted Maurizio and I. We were in communication coordinating with him, saying, I've got a guest coming. So here's Bart's business working for him in the USA while he was sleeping. We're doing a presentation to one of his prospects. Austin's now joined the business. He's going to be a great team member. And so I'm just saying that because it really does benefit all of us to plug the events happening all over the world. And we have such an amazing Asea culture that we can trust each other to send a guest to an event where we're not even going to be at and know they're going to be taken care of and supported and, really presented well, because that's just what we do as a global team. So Bart, I think your story, I just think it's amazing. Plus I got to meet Austin and I love his enthusiasm. Maurizio was fantastic with him, at the event as well, just to acknowledge Maurizio. And, it's the power of our collaborative work, which you don't see in other professions. We had other new associates from North Carolina that flew in that are brand new. And that was one of the things that they commented on, is that in other professions, you might compete against each other. In traditional sales jobs, you're competing against each other. But here, the more that we leverage each other's resources locally and globally, and work as a team, even if we're not directly on the same team, but we're part of the global Asea team, our businesses all grow. And I think that's really magical, and you don't see that in other business models.
Yeah, that's true. So Austin, you're welcome to unmute if you wanted to jump on and say good day, but if you don't, that's cool too. But like it is a fun business model, and it's just a big family. And so look, if you're brand new, or if you're just looking at this, I would encourage you to jump in, make a big splash, jump in with both feet and go for it. It's, and you know what, there are a lot of good companies. There's a lot of good, we talked about network marketing as a profession, but the good, better, and best of network marketing companies, to me, it feels like we got the only game in town. We really have something very, very special. And if you haven't been in other things, you have no idea how lucky you are. In fact, I see Glenn Martin on with us, and Glenn can attest to that firsthand, because he's had some ups and downs with some other companies, and would just talk about how incredibly how amazing Asea is as a company, the people and everything. So look, thanks again, everybody, for joining the webinar. I'm excited to be able to share some of these thoughts and ideas with you. I hope that you've gotten some good things out of it, and I've certainly had a lot of fun. And I wish you all the best, and we'll see you down the Asea highway, freeway, the Autobahn.